Hey, what's up everybody? Doing this vid for like the 5th time right now because this life cam is so screwy. Like I've said before, man, it's just terrible. Constantly wants to have glitches and constantly wants to cut out, so don't know what I'm gonna do, but I think I might have an idea, which I will show later. I'm already out of it. But this video, I'm gonna show a few different pickups in this vid. But the main one is the computer here, but I do have a piece of Whisky memorabilia, I'll say. It's not like any actual bottles of whiskey, it's just a piece of memorabilia from, it's pretty vintage actually. So I will show that after the computer for any of my whiskey subscribers or whatever. You guys can check that out. But I'm going to show off the computer first. And some people that I know close know about the computer. I've already shown this to them, and if you've watched my live streams, you've already seen this, but was able to, just some context. I know like War Putty, I'm sending this video to him because we have like a dialogue about Mac stuff. I got a 2009 iMac about 4 months ago for a decent price. This one's a way bigger score, and I'll get to that. This thing was a steal, an absolute steal. But that iMac, for some reason, after a while, the screen started to give me migraines, even with the brightness turned all the way down. Like I say, I think it has something to do with the way that my eyes are, in terms of how they deal with bright light. But I just could not handle the screen at all, so I took the computer back to the guy and said, "Here, I can't use this computer. I have freaking constant migraines." Took it back, which is awesome. I'm very glad that he did that, just because I couldn't use it. And so I was back to my 2008 iMac. Which it's been running pretty well, but it's starting to get slow. I'm pretty damn sure the hard drive's giving out on me. Everything's just getting slower on all OSs, so started to search around for a replacement and just looking for deals, and I found a killer freaking deal. So we'll get into this iMac here, because this is just my mind is blown at this computer, man. This is one of my biggest scores in quite some time, man. For the price I paid, it's not extremely new, but for the price I paid, it's a steal. This is my, wow, I'm just thinking about this. This, actually, I'll give you guys even more context once I tell you guys what the computer is here. iMac 21.5 inch. This is a mid 2010 iMac, so fairly old. The manufacture date on this is 10/11/2010, so it's getting there, but definitely newer than my other ones in the specs. This is a massive spec upgrade from both that and the 2009 that I owned for a bit. This is a damn good computer. So in terms of processor, it's got a 3.06 gigahertz Intel Core i3 dual core, which is way better than the Core 2 Duo. It's not to the level like the Core i5 processors, but still pretty good. This computer is really freaking fast when it comes to switching between programs and stuff. I'm kind of out of it right now. I'm always kind of out of it. I think you guys should know that at this point. In terms of memory, and this is what's freaking awesome, especially for how much I paid, like I say, this came with 4 gigs of RAM originally, like if you bought it from Apple, but this guy upgraded it to 8. So I got 8 gigs of RAM on this thing already, which is awesome. For graphics, it's got AMD Radeon HD 5670 256 megabyte, which is actually the same card that came in the 27-inch iMac of the previous year, so not terrible. In terms of software, again, lucked out. It's got OS X Mavericks latest update, which is freaking great. I did also partition this iMac with 2 other OSs. I have Snow Leopard on it and Sierra. This one goes up to High Sierra, but I've heard some problems with upgrading these older iMacs to Sierra with like hard drive corruption, so I just said Sierra's good enough. It's fairly stable. Even though, like I said, I prefer the look of Mavericks, the cool 3D look. So yeah, in terms of built-in display, 21.5 inch, and it's got a 1080p resolution on it. And this one, it's not giving me headaches, man, and it's fairly bright, and it's pretty good in terms of colors and whatnot. For storage, this is the only area where it's kind of lacking. It's got a 500 gig drive. I would have preferred if it was a 1 terabyte drive, but this was the base size at the time. So, not terrible. It is bigger than the 256 I had in the 2008 iMac, so hey, bigger is better. Like I say, you can never have too much hard drive space. Never can you have too much hard drive space. Always go for the highest. That's what I say. Or for a very high amount. So that's for specs. And in terms of what I'm using in accessories, I still haven't gotten the Magic Trackpad. Like I say, I always find stuff that's cool. I work on these smaller pickups, but the Magic Trackpad is going to come eventually. That's a really freaking cool thing. Like I say, if Warpuddy's watching, we got a similar past for this computer equipment stuff, because I don't deal with regular mice very often anymore. I use trackball. This is a Logitech trackball, and this is freaking nice. Now you can actually use this. This is a wireless one. You can actually use this on the Mac, but it thinks it's a keyboard. It does work, but it thinks it's a keyboard, and sometimes it'll have spasms. So I just don't use it with it, and I use it on my Windows box. So as of right now anyway, I'm still just using the Magic Mouse. So I mean, it's fairly nice. It's kind of trippy how it works, how the whole thing is a touch surface, but yeah, cool to have. And then I have the aluminum keyboard. I also do have, I think I've showed this off in other vids before. I know I've shown it off in some of my live stuff, but I have the extended keyboard, the wired one with the number pad on it. This is actually a really nice keyboard. It's nice and quiet too, but I just use the wireless one because it takes up less space on the desk, and because of the fact that it's wireless, so I get an extra USB port. Oh, and that reminds me, in terms of ports on this thing, has 4 USB ports, has an audio in and out jack, Firewire 800 Ethernet mini display port. It has a CD DVD burner on the side, and it has an SDXE card slot on the side. So pretty good selection of ports, and since I'm using wireless, all 4 ports are free, which is nice. So I'll get off showing this here. Try to show it off to the best of my ability, man, because this thing's giving me freaking hell. Like I say, man, I just have a really, really freaking hard time doing this stuff. Okay, that's a bit better, I think. So here it is, like I said, 21.5 inch, 16 by 9 screen. In terms of programs, like I say, it is running Mountain Lion, or not Mountain Lion, it's running Mavericks. There you go, there's Maps. That was Mavericks only in iBooks. But it is using the Mountain Lion wallpaper because I like that. Oh yeah, that's one thing to note. For some freaking reason, sometimes while recording these videos today, the camera will flash black, so it might just black out for a little bit sometimes, which is why I'm starting to get worried about this. Oh yeah, and for webcam on this guy, oh, see, it did it right there. For webcam, it's got the 480p webcam on it. Open up photo booth here. It's got the 480 webcam on it. This is the very last iMac before they went to that's really freaking annoying. Shit. How do I, you know what, I'm just going to turn this bullshit off if possible. Turn off true color. Yeah, and that's what it does to me. Okay, I'll turn this on for the duration of showing this. But this is a 480 cam. Like I said, it's the very last iMac before they went to HD webcams. It's not terrible in terms of quality, actually. If you use Photo Booth to record, you're not recording in HD anyway, and the video from this iMac and a 720p webcam iMac will look identical in Photo Booth. The only thing they did is increase the resolution, so I might start using that for videos just because it's a lot more stable than using the LifeCam. The LifeCam might overall look better at times, more crisp, but that is just a way more reliable way to film. I will be putting a test video up about an hour after this one goes up, if even that shows a test. I filmed it a couple days ago when I first got it, but that will be up and you guys can take a look at that just to see how it looks. So there's Nestopia, which is a NES emulator, Genesis Plus, MAME OS X, which is They haven't updated this since 2009. It's pretty out of date, so it doesn't work very well. My arcade ROMs, like I said, it does not accept them. iPhoto there. Minecraft, which I just put that on there to test it, like I said before, to compare how it ran on the old one. Then there's that Nexus game. I do have some more games on Sierra that I'll show off here, but let's go into Nexus here. And it ran pretty well in that other one, but I gotta say, it runs this game like a bat out of freaking hell.
Welcome to Nexus.
Show this off. It's gonna be kind of hard to control with just one hand because I'm holding the camera in the other, but trying to make sure my video isn't fucking up. But it runs this game really smooth. It might not show up very well in the life cam because it's kind of stuttery all the time with the life cam, but for me, man, I don't see any glitching. I don't see any frame rate problems. I mean, it just runs it really freaking smooth. And then this is running at 1080p res. It's max resolution, max graphics. Everything is maxed out on this, and it runs perfect. So yeah. So I'm a victim. There you go. So yeah, that game's like a total rip-off of Quake or whatever, but it's still a cool game. It's a free game, so why not try it? So that's Nexus right there. I'll show off. Oh, there's. No, I do actually have. I have Kega Fusion as well, which is another Genesis emulator. Oh, I actually haven't even opened it on here yet because I already know that it works. Let me show that off. I do have some ROMs. I showed this off before, but Fusion. This is a really freaking good emulator for doing Genesis games on Mac. This is probably the best one I found. Genesis Plus works okay, but there's a bit of sound tearing, like it's a bit staticky on it. Here's my ROMs, like I'll show Thunder Force 3 here. Let's increase the size of the window. Yeah, it runs really great on this. And the sound is excellent for a Genesis emulator. A lot of Genesis emulators I found, even on PC, have kind of glitchy sound, so. Really quick, I'll show Minecraft. I know nobody really cares, but it does run quite smoothly on here. Now, Minecraft's kind of a bullshit game when it comes to running. I mean, you actually do need a powerful computer to run at least older versions of Minecraft, because of how constantly it tries to update chunks. So you get a lot of choppiness. My actual base frame rate is good, but it just is really choppy. But in terms of this older version, it does run quite well. I'll show that off here. Just a normal world. Yeah, doing all of its chunk updates there, so it is a bit laggy right now anyway. Oh yeah, 90 frames per second. I'm walking around in it. Yeah, it's great. Go in the water. Now the only problem I found with this is for some reason the game has to be in full screen or it crashes. It just blacks out. And that means you can't load your save games. In this game, save level, load level. I try to load the world that I did the showcase on. It comes up there showing the worlds. There it is, World 5. I'll even do a quick look, just so you guys know I'm not lying there. Last modified July 15th, 2016. And if I open that, blacks out. So that does not work, unfortunately. So there's not a whole lot of a purpose to play unless you transfer it, because you're pretty much screwed in terms of that. But yeah. I want to try Victoria 2 on this. That's a really fun game. It ran extremely mediocre on my Latitude with the with a monitor just like this one, so it's got to run pretty freaking good on this computer. Now I'm going to reboot into their newer, like Sierra OS, because I want to show off another game here. This is a game that I've tried to run on all of my Mac systems, on all my systems actually, on my everything. Which is, oh, the camera looks really bad, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. COD 4. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of this game. But my copy is actually this is a very rare item. These are hard to find. Because of one thing. I mean, you can go on eBay and find these things for $5 sealed. But this is the very first batch they ever produced, and it's a defect. The game has a product key, but it never gives you the option to put the product key in. So you can't play it. It just says not authorized. But I do have that. I might buy a copy of this that is not defective in order to run the game. But, because I want to try it on another OS on Snow Leopard to see if it runs any better on an older version of OS 10. But in terms of Macs, my 2009 iMac ran that game like a freaking slideshow. My 2008 iMac wasn't much better. Playing the game on like the lowest setting, low resolution, you get some decent frames, but I don't need you guys to see my password or anything. Alright. So yeah, it has the like High Sierra or whatever wallpaper, but and it does that shit with the fans that mine does, but watch. You hear the fan going? Goes to silent. My 2008 iMac does the same shit. I don't know why. Alright, so what I want to do now is go to Call of Duty 4. Now this is the game that really freaking blows me away in terms of how well it runs. I'm going to grab a stack of games to set this on now. NBA 2K10, great NBA game. Alright. Waiting for Steam to load up. Like I say, I want to try this on the disc running an older version. That way Steam is not running. Like there's not the extra overhead on the performance. I don't want you guys to see any of my details on here, so I'm trying to kind of keep it kosher. Team Fortress Classic, obviously it runs that game freaking perfectly. Launch multiplayer. It will be up in just a second. But it runs just excellent on this. Because I want both of my hands to be able to do this. Yeah, let me get a bigger stack of games. Sorry this is kind of impromptu. But I want to show this off because it's incredible. I'm actually going to do a whole separate video on this with a real camera. That way there's none of the stuttering. Because it's awesome how well this game runs. Show you guys the settings on this thing here. I'll get rid of that. Graphics, it's at 720p. Let me put it to the max. 1080p, apply the settings. So 1080p, which is the res of the screen, and it looks, you can even zoom in, really freaking smooth, man. It's awesome. Texture settings, extra, extra, extra. Shadows are glitched in the Mac version, so I just turned them off, but everything else is on. Model detail is normal. You can't go any higher than that. Let's start a new server. Let's do Strike. and I love Call of Duty 4. I mean, people know this, but this game's just excellent. It's actually one of the 360 games that's holding this up as my classic copy of Call of Duty 4. Sadly, like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on this because this life cam doesn't do it justice. It looks laggy on the life cam thing, but in reality, it runs this game legitimately perfect. Max settings, max everything. I really got to do a vid with my actual camera because it does look choppy on here, but I mean it's literally perfect. Want to see a glitch in this game, guys? I'll try and pull this off. How to get up there. I might do a video on this. You gotta jump just to the right of that air conditioner. Missed it. But then you walk around on the railing there. And you can climb up in. So, yeah, but it's just crazy how well this runs. Especially since this was like the low-end model at the time, and it runs this game legitimately perfect. Car blew up, didn't lag. Runs this game just excellently. So there's that. Just get out of this real quick and set this up again. So there's COD 4, and I'm amazed at gaming performance on this thing. It's really freaking smooth, man. It's nice. Wise. Alright. So that's basically it for the Mac. I'm really freaking happy with this one. This is a great computer, and here's the price. You guys got to catch the price of this. And actually, yes, let's get online. Let's get on eBay, because eBay is a very common place to shop for older Macs. I'll show the game stack real quick. And there it is, my classic cracked bottom copy of COD 4. If you watched me in 2016, you saw this a lot. Okay, eBay. And this is where this is a mega score, guys. First off, I paid... My first ever iMac was 2006 white iMac 17-inch screen. And it was an education version of the iMac. Had the no Bluetooth, Intel GMA graphics, like really freaking baseline. 2010 iMac. And you know how much I paid for that 2006 iMac? I paid $70. $70 for that thing. And I thought it was a good deal at the time. 2008 iMac, which is the baseline model. I paid $90 for that guy. 90 or 100, I don't remember the shipping on it. But I paid, I'm trying to think. For my 2009 iMac, I paid $130, which is a decent deal because they usually go for like $150, $160, so a little bit of a discount there. But for a 2010 iMac, a D grade one, and this is in pretty damn good condition. $130 for a D grade. Here's a pretty good condition one, which is $170. Here's one for $182. There's one for $250, more than $250. There's one for $240, $160. That one's, these freaking wholesale guys are just freaking scammers. Here's one for $400. That has a 1 terabyte drive though. That's actually an upgraded model, so maybe that's not too bad. 230, 180. Oh, my computer's going to sleep. Hope it didn't just kill my recording. But yeah, so we're talking between, for a one that's in good condition, here's 225. We're talking about 150 at the lowest to like 250. For one in good shape, you're going to pay 170 to 250. And I only paid, let's take a look. How much did I pay for mine? I'm trying to remember. With tax, this is with tax. I paid $54. $54 for this thing. Like I say, it's in great shape, it runs well, nothing wrong. This is a great computer for a 2010 iMac for $54 with tax, with everything shipping all up, 54 bucks for this. This is my cheapest iMac ever, and it's the best. This is cheaper than any MacBook I've ever bought. I bought a 2006 MacBook. You know what? Warputty, if Warputty's watching this part, you probably, Jesus Christ, this thing's dusty. You probably remember my iBooks, my old iBooks. I had the iBook G3, which had the hard drive failure. I paid like 70 bucks for that, and I paid like 40 for this G4. I paid 10 bucks more for a 2010 iMac than I did for a 2005 iBook with some damage. That just goes to show how much of a deal this is. It's just a mega score. This is one of my biggest scores ever. This thing is really dusty as well. Screen's a little miffed. But I'm just amazed at how good of a deal this was. And like I say, it's running awesome. And this honestly might become the final replacement for that 2008 iMac. That computer's been excellent. I've loved it. It's ran great. But this one is a step ahead. And like I said, I'm going to do some videos testing the webcam on that. The webcam on that was mediocre in terms of like the lighting wasn't very great. It was very dark. And also it's so high from the ground. High from the desk that unless you tilt the computer down, you're just seeing like the top part of your head. So, yeah. But I will have a test video out pretty soon. So, yep, I'm completely happy with this. This is one of my biggest scores in a while. Great computer. Now, I also wanted to show off. Also, yeah, actually, one final note, if anybody is still interested in the computer part of this. Like I say, those iMacs that I was talking about online on eBay were not, they didn't have the RAM upgrade. They only had 4 gigs. Mine has 8. And it costs 30 to 40 bucks to buy an extra 4 gigs of RAM for this thing. So I paid 10 bucks more than the RAM upgrade for this thing, for the whole computer. That is a steal. I gotta say, that is a steal. But now for my Whisky, for the Whisky community, which, yeah, the Whisky guys, this is it. It's a piece of Whisky memorabilia, which was given to me by family. I did not search for this myself, but you guys might find this kind of cool. Got myself and I might use this to store some stuff. Got myself a Crown Royal little baggie here, which is what the bottles would have come in. Now, I don't know how they look now. Actually, let me get on Google and look up what they look like now. But there's this Crown Royal bag. Let me just turn that stupid crap off in terms of the true color. You know, I was running well without this thing. There, wow, now it's all blown out. Stupid camera drives me crazy. But there's the Crown Royal baggie. It's purple with the gold accents. I don't know how they look now. That's what I'm gonna look at. Crown Royal bag. Yeah, still looks pretty similar in terms of. It looks like there's a green bag too. Oh, there's multiple colors here they're selling. A Crown Royal bag costume. It still looks like the bags are fairly similar to this one. But this one was for a bottle that was purchased in 1987, 1988. Because this was my dad's when he served in the military, which was in Germany in the late 80s. So this is pretty vintage. Kind of just a cool thing to have. I might store some stuff in it. And yeah, a little whiskey item for my collection, considering my history with the whiskey community on YouTube. Now I got a little thing right there, so kind of cool. Yeah, just a little pickup to show. I don't really have much else in terms of pickups. You know, just kind of pretty scarce. Actually, the knife. Oh, damn that knife. Okay, the knife is interesting. It's a 1950s knife. It's a large pocket knife, but it has all this green crap on it. If War Putty's watching this part, you know knives, so you probably know what I'm talking about here. It's got this green stuff all over it and all over the sheath. And when I handle it all, it flakes really bad, and I just don't want to deal with that right now. Because it's a pain to clean up. But it's a pretty cool blade. I did show it off in my collector video, which is unlisted because the sound got messed up. I'm going to do another video here fairly soon on my updated collection, and I'll probably show that in it. So, yep, that's basically all I have for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you got any comments about the computer or anything, leave them below. And I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys later.